Andrew are here, but mostly Disney is the name of the podcast here to play. Laugh along to what they say. So tune in, grab your mouse ears, let's all give a cheer for Disney. Times are here.
Hey guys, and welcome to But Mostly Disney podcast. Or I guess the But Mostly Disney podcast, as opposed to whatever I just said. I'm Tater, as always, although I don't mind, for some reason, my name's not showing up. And with me, as always, is my friend on the other end, Andrew. How's it going, buddy?
Good. How's everybody doing tonight? Cold here in Charleston again. I'm over this cold.
Dude, I'm right back with you here. I don't understand.
Karen, how
why.
many inches y'all got in Maine?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
3 feet? She'll post here in a second.
Yeah, I'm going to add in my name live here on the show. You can see how the sauce is made. That's weird. I wonder why that disappeared all of a sudden.
Technology.
It doesn't. I know it seems like I've got all this, that I'm just got it all figured out, but I really don't. I still can't get this to ever hit just the way I want it to. So frustrating. But I'm not going to let it stop us. I can see it. So I'm doing it live over here. I can see it popping up on the other. So we're back after a 2-week hiatus, and I'm sorry, guys, but I am thrilled to be back live and to talk about. But you want to go first because your trip was a lot more exciting than mine.
Yeah, mine was a lot longer too. We were talking about it yesterday. Sunday we went to church. We're like, wait, we haven't been to church in 2 weeks, but actually it was 2 Sundays in a week. But we left on Saturday morning, drove down. I think we left Charleston like at 8 a.m. We weren't in any hurry. Got to Orlando 2:30ish. What's up, Matthew?
I'm just popping these on here while you're talking. But it's weird that his hold on.
What's up?
Look, I wonder why the little logos are so low.
Oh yeah, I see that now.
I didn't change that.
Skynet.
It really is.
So anyways, we got down to about 2:30. We went to the Icon Park, the giant Ferris wheel everybody sees driving down on 4. If you haven't done it, I'd say do it one time. It's a tourist trap, basically. We didn't go on the Ferris wheel because I was the only one that really wanted to do it, and it was going to take about 20 minutes to do the whole thing because it goes 1 mile per hour. But when you get to the top, it's pretty cool because you can see all of Universal and all of Disney. They have like a little map you can point out and see everything. But we did go to Madame Tussauds Wax Museum, which was rather expensive, but that was pretty cool. Yeah, it was like $160 for the 4 of us. It wasn't too. That was fun. We did that, and then we had dinner that night at Ohana, and I picked the right time. We had an 8:50, so we got to see the fireworks. Dinner, of course, there is awesome. It's never bad. Had a great server. We had a table 1 row off the window, the windows, and so we got to see the fireworks. And then the next day we got up. We had no plans. We kind of took it easy. We had some friends coming in. So we met them at Disney Springs and then ate at Enzo's Hideaway. And then got up next morning and drove the hour trip to Port Canaveral on a Royal Caribbean Utopia of the Sea, which is a massive ship. It is the 3rd largest ship in the fleet. Actually, 3rd largest ship in the world.
Really?
Yeah. You could be on that boat and you wouldn't realize you're on a boat. The promenade they call it the Royal Promenade. It reminded me of a mall. They have Central Park, which is like going to Central Park in New York. There's a Ferris wheel, 2 climbing walls, an aqua theater, a skating rink, 10 restaurants probably. It was cool. We went to Nassau. We didn't get off the boat at Nassau. We rented a cabana on the boat, kind of hung out there. And then the next day was their private island, which was fun. We had a day bed lounger, and it had 2 chairs. So my girls were in the daybed lounger, and then my wife and I were under the umbrella. And then that was for 5 days. And then we got back off the boat, drove back to Orlando, checked into the beach club villas for 2 days, which are very nice if you've never stayed in one. Um, went straight to Magic Kingdom. It wasn't too bad for a Friday. Um, did everything that we could do. There were some things like at one point in the day, well, you had Buzz Lightyear still down, Big Thunder still down, Tiana's was down for a while, and then Space Mountain went down. So you had Tron and Seven Dwarfs were the big attractions that were open like at lunchtime. So the heat of the day, you had a couple places down. Um, um, so we did that, and then hung out at the. Got back. For some reason they didn't do the Starlight Parade that night. I don't know why. But got back before the fireworks started. Went to the boardwalk, which I thought closed early, but closes at 11. Got Lou's favorite pizza there. Kind of hung out. Cake Bake Shop closed at 11, so that was good. We got some dessert there, and then got next morning with Epcot, which wasn't really thinking. It was President's Day weekend, Festival of the Arts, or Farts, as Jeremy Stein calls it, and they had a cheerleading competition in town.
Oh.
So Epcot was packed. It was still fun.
And y'all did Epcot, then Hollywood. That was
Hollywood. I want to do Hollywood at night because I just like the neon and all that stuff.
Was that Saturday? Is that Valentine's Day?
Yeah, that was Valentine's Day. So
because we were there.
Yeah, we just didn't mesh up.
Yeah, well, when I texted you, I was like, dude, I don't want to interfere with your trip. Love to high five in person. But it's tough sometimes. Which is funny. Tough. I was standing on a balcony, or I'm sorry, not a balcony. Excuse me. I was standing in my window at the Wyndham, looking out, and we were watching fireworks, and I could see Magic Kingdom. I could see Epcot, and I was thinking, well, Andrew's right over there, and Becky's at Boardwalk. Yeah. Becky Menken's at Boardwalk, right across the street. It was really funny that we had, I had all these people. Jeremy Stein was there for a day trip on Friday.
Yep, like they were Friday.
I knew a lot of people at Disney, all at once. It was very strange.
Yeah, we couldn't get the powers together to get everybody lined up right. But yeah, so we got to we got back. So our room was pretty cool. You could see Spaceship Earth, so we got a good view of the fireworks every night. And then let's see, what else did we do? Oh, the 2D Ratatouille. Not a fan.
No,
not a fan. Like the 3D better. And I have vertigo, so some 3D rides really mess with me. And there's the part where he swings around and the little short chef goes, I gotcha. That always triggers me. But doing it 2D, it felt like it made it worse when we got to that part. But I'm trying to think. We get on Spaceship Earth, and my wife goes in first, and somehow she touched the screen, so I got to listen to the whole Spaceship Earth audio in Japanese.
Oh, how was that?
Yeah. Luckily, I knew all the words to it, so it wasn't too bad. Which we had a good laugh with that as a memory. We're like, what in the world? Test track was just how busy it was. Test track was 240 minutes.
Holy moly!
Yeah, and I couldn't use my GM manager's perk because it was a weekend. You can only use it Monday through Friday.
Oh yeah, and you get to go into that. There's a secret lounge,
right? Yeah, so you usually go into the lounge, take an elevator up to the top. We have this thing called the GM number, which is basically our GM employee number. They write it all down, what dealership you're from, blah, blah, blah. And you can hang out there. Like when it rains, it's perfect to be at. You could usually have coffee and tea and stuff. Well, the cool thing is you'll go to another elevator You go straight down, the doors open, and you're right there to get on the ride. You bypass everything.
Oh wow.
But it's closed on the weekends now. Great. Um, it was still fun, but we didn't get to do test track. Haley did Guardians of the Galaxy for the first time and loved it. We didn't tell her it moved. Um, so when she got on, she kind of freaked out when it started turning. But that was a good ride for her. I'm trying to think. Of course, the craziest ride was the Starbucks line and Connections Cafe. Um, hello, hello.
Kyle's literally from on Spaceship Earth.
Oh,
It's his
Spaceship Earth.
birthday too. Happy birthday.
But it was all in all a good trip, except for I broke a cardinal Disney dad's rule.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we went and got our taxes done last night. Yay! But
Oh,
we're
nice.
good there. My daughter, my oldest Haley, went with me. We were talking about our trip and all, and I said, "Kid, you like you was wore out come Saturday morning." She's like, "Dad, I think you burned me out on Disney a little much." I went, "Oh no!" I said, "What? You never get burned out on Disney." She goes,
Wow.
"Well," she goes, I think it was because we Julie wanted to try going after we get off the boat. Usually we go before we get on the boat." And she's like, "I just feel like we get off the boat and we drive straight home." And I wanted to spend some more time with her.
Yeah.
So I think it was some of the fact that she was tired um, from the cruise. But she was like, "Yeah, it's kind of burnt out a little bit, Dad." And I was like, "Ouch, that I don't want to hear."
So look, I've never had a bad time at Disney, obviously, right? But
Yeah,
I will say this: one year we did Key West after before after Disney, before Disney, and I didn't love that because, um, you get all relaxed and everything's great, and then you go woo. Now look, I'll go to Disney anytime I'm allowed to, but I do think I like. There's an order, right? Like there's a way to maybe do it, and I really liked going to Disney, go, and then oh, Kyle's hitting Shikisai. Or what is that called there, Andrew?
shiki. We already forgot what it said.
In the shiki room. Happy birthday, Kyle. Enjoy it. Tell your wife I said hello.
Awesome.
It was nice getting to meet them, which I will tell you about here in a minute. But it was maybe doing the parks before, because then you go in the boat and chill out a little bit, perhaps. And like Matthew was saying, no need to get off in the Bahamas, right? Like that.
Yeah, we did. I'm not trying. It's not bad, but I've been on enough cruises where I've seen one. "Hey man, let me braid your hair, man. Come get on
Right.
my scooter, man." It's enough for me. I'm good.
My kids did that. They said that like, oh, we got to go, Dad, because we got to say it's the first time out of the country on our Wish cruise, and they're like, we got to say we've been out of the country. I'm like, look, Castaway Key is out of the country. You can absolutely, you are in the Bahamas. No, we got to say it. And then 2 blocks later, they were just like, can we go back
I'm
to the
done.
boat?
Yeah. Cool thing with Royal, they now have a separate little. I don't know if you call it cove or outlier island. It's called the Royal Promenade Island, I think is what they call it. Royal, I
Oh,
can't remember. Anyways, so you of course have to pay for it. But you get off the boat, you jump on a little schooner boat over this little island, and you have everything you want. You don't have to go to Nassau through the port. You just go in through the private island deal. It's pretty neat.
what was your so what were your like? So I've only been on a Disney cruise. I've never
See, I've
done
never
any
been on a
other.
Disney cruise.
What did you? How do they compare? What would you rather do?
So my wife will kill me when she hears me say this, but before we went on Royal, we'd gone on Carnival, and I hated it. I disliked it. Um, I would say Carnival is the low income cruise line, or more so for like if you're there to party and you want to drink and get slammed drunk and listen to music and gamble, Carnival's your ship. Royal Caribbean is, you still can, do all that, but there's a lot more to it because the ships are so big and there's so much more to do. There's like a friend of ours loves to play bingo. They had bingo nights. You could win $1,000 playing bingo, or they had casino different games going on, or you could go watch the ice skating show or the aqua theater or go to a comedy show. Um, it's a little more high end on the Royal Caribbean than the Carnival. I've never been on a Disney cruise. My wife says she will never go on a Disney cruise.
Oh,
Um, she says, yeah, she's like, I don't want to be trapped on a boat with a bunch of kids.
so
I'm like, well, I think it's a little more than that, but okay.
It's true. And it was not like that. And I would definitely do another group cruise with one of Married to a Disney Addicts. I know they've got one going on, or do one with Lou
Right.
again. And which is what we did. And you can participate as much or as little as you want. But my wife and I had a very good adult time. It was fine. The kids were older and they ran around. It was great. I will say, it's funny. We watched a video last night of, I think his name's Simon, but he's a Welsh guy who travels, and he was on Margaritaville. And it's funny you say that, but someone described Royal Carnival as the Walmart of cruises. And they said, if that's true, then Margaritaville is a guy selling fish out of the back of his truck in a parking lot somewhere of cruises. There's a hierarchy. And even though I had a great time on a cruise, go ahead.
I'm just going to go with it. No, right. No, I was saying, if I know Disney, they're probably up there with Royal Caribbean. Just the level of service you get for what you pay for.
It was perfect. It was a perfect cruise. I just would rather spend that money in the parks. It's nothing against the cruise. Now, Becky Menken of MEI Travel told me that that said, look, there's a boat for everyone. There's a cruise for every single person. And you've just got to find which cruise you enjoy. I think if I were going to spend my money on a cruise, it'd be somewhere in Europe on a riverboat cruise, which is totally different, but still.
Totally different.
Matthew's backing me up here, and that they said the exact same thing. They don't be trapped in a boat with a bunch of screaming kids in a mouse, and they've been on 4 cents. And it's just not what it is. Like, you could go have an adult good time on a Disney cruise. Absolutely.
Well,
without fail.
So I listen to Car Guy. So I listen to a bunch of car podcasts. I follow NASCAR, so I follow Dale Jr. He just went on a Disney cruise with his 2 girls and his wife and another couple. And he says, yeah, I'm thinking about getting on this boat, and there's going to be like this secluded dad bar that you can only go to with a secret password they'll give you. He goes, I get on this boat, and there's 5 bars, and our favorite one is the Haunted Mansion.
Right.
And he goes, and at 9 o'clock at night, it was a bunch of dads in there because the moms were putting the kids to sleep. He goes, I had the best time on that cruise. And I was like, well, I can see that.
I think the problem, not a problem. I think the difference with Disney, no casino, like that changes some things. And then look, I love the ship for what it was. I'll probably do it again. It's not my goal, right? There's a lot of things before it, but then you're watching like the boat, maybe you were on, and when I was doing the training stuff for MEI, you see these Royal Caribbean ships, and they have water slides, and they have water parks and putt-putt and like rock climbing and that weird thing where
is the largest one they have.
It's insane. A water diving show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was on our ship. Yeah.
I mean, that's nuts.
They had a dry slide. It's called the Ultimate Abyss. It had 2 tubes. It went from the 16th floor to the 8th floor.
Wow.
Right. It's zip lining down the middle of it. It's a huge ship, and they offer a whole lot. And then when you get to their private island, everything is included. You don't there was a snack bar behind us that had chicken sandwiches and hamburgers and hot dogs and different kind of snacks and stuff. You just walk up and order it. You don't pay for a dime.
And that's how Disney is. And Karen, I don't know if you did a Disney cruise or not, but because we didn't snorkel with rays, but we did feed the rays. And that was really cool, even though it was super touristy. I don't mind being touristy, right? Like when I lived when Matthew says that, yeah, they have a slide from the kids club, right? You can do it as an adult.
Yeah.
When I lived in Key West, I walked around and did touristy stuff all the time. I'll be a tourist in my hometown. I have no problem with that. And Matthew says this too, that they have whole sections just for adults. I will say that Kay and I splurged, and it was $300 or $400 more, and bought a pass for the spa for the week. So she and I would disappear into there, and the kids were doing their own thing. But it was pretty awesome. And Disney's, again, I think I've said this before, but Disney's Castaway Cay, you could have just left me there. Like, you could have flown me in there and left me. I'd have just stayed there the whole time. It was spectacular. It was really, really cool.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah. I've heard that place is awesome. Well, I think I'm going to do is she's like, I don't want to spend the money on a Disney cruise right now, blah, blah, blah. But I get these points from work that I cash in for gift cards. I usually get Disney gift cards and put them aside. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take those gift cards and save up enough for I know they do 3-day cruise. They used to do, I need to look, but wherever their smallest cruise is, maybe take a tester cruise and say, hey, we don't have nothing invested in this. I use points from work. Let's just give it a shot.
And look, I'm going to tell you what, I think I talked about it before. I need to figure out a way to make money on doing it, but Capital One shopping, did I ever send you a link for that?
No, you were supposed to. But...
about par for the course. It's in the mail with Karen, by the way, please DM me right now. Chris, I have your address. I'm going to the post office tomorrow. Not like I say I'm doing every week. I really am going tomorrow. It's all boxed up, ready to go. But Karen, I just want to make sure I send it to the right address. So please, I know you've sent me an address probably twice before, but make sure I have the right one, and I'll put that in the middle more. Chris, I do have yours. I know that yours is not changed. But I mean, I checked the other day, and even since July, I think I have another like almost $500 in points. And like I bought something today, and I was going to buy it from Home Depot, and then Capital One chopped. And look, I don't have any affiliation with Capital One, and you don't have to use a Capital One card or anything else. But I think there is a link where I could make $80 if I refer people. This is why Andrew and I are rolling in the dough from the podcasting, because I'm such a good businessman. But I'm making these points for every purchase I make on a daily basis. And today, not only did it give me like $40 in points back, it also saved me $37 on it. Thanks, Karen. Got it. So that's been, hotels for free, right? I mean, cause this stuff's expensive. None of it's cheap, right?
No.
None of it. So any pennies I can scrape away, man, I'm into.
So I did do one thing. Since we go down so much, we normally don't get the lightning lanes.
Oh.
But I wanted to do it just to see what the cost was going to be.
That's so funny. I almost asked you if you did lightning lanes.
So I bought Guardians of the Galaxy because that's a hard, that one I don't mind paying for because it's a hard one to stand in line for, and if you can pay for it, and get, we did like 4:00 in the afternoon. But for 4 people, it was $42 a person at Magic Kingdom on Friday. And then Saturday at Epcot, it was $32. I think it was
wow.
40. It was close. It was anyways, when it was all said and done, it was $332 for 2 days for 4
That's
people.
a lot. I didn't even know it got that. I think the most I've seen it is $32.
I want to say it was 42. I can go back and look at my credit card statement.
All right. So a little bit of a tangent. Imagine that here. I was watching a YouTube video about Vegas dying.
Mm-hmm.
That no one's going to Vegas. And I have seen like a bunch of YouTubers saying that and putting stuff out there about it. And so this guy was saying Vegas is not dying at all. It's making more money than ever. It's just that they've shifted their focus to the wealthiest people possible, because less wealthy people spend more than a lot of middle class or regular folks like us. And so they've shifted because they realize that they'll make more money by targeting rich folks. And that makes sense, right? Like I do real estate in my real job. So I'm not going to, now look, I do everything. I do $100,000 houses. I do $5 million houses. I don't care. No job too small, right? and I don't know if I made this up, but I'm going to say it because I think I did. But on a post, I was talking about it one time, and that's what I said. If you're too big for the small jobs, then you're probably too small for the big jobs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I should put like a puppy or a cat hanging up and put that on a sign. I could sell it somewhere. But so I don't care. But duh, if I had to pick, you want to pick the most expensive houses, right? It's more money. Personally, I find I like a certain price range because I like regular folks, but why would you market to the lowest possible? I mean, that doesn't make sense. I get it. However, if Vegas is targeting, only whales, only the uber wealthy, like Formula One, most Americans don't follow Formula One, right?
Yeah, that race is expensive to go out there.
So I didn't realize this, but they closed the strip down for the race. Then they put fencing up so you can't see it from the bridges or anywhere else.
Nope.
And then lounges or bars that can see the race from the windows, they cover up.
So a friend of mine went out there. I don't remember. I think it was Paris. They left 3 days before the race. Their room was like $175 a night. Whatever it was. Because you could see the race from the room, it was $1,500 a night after he left.
They did that. They had it. I mean, and look, and that's always going to happen, right? This dynamic pricing, all these things that people do. I just got our power bill for last month, so I may not be going to Disney ever again. But they were talking about. We had that here. We have a festival called Something in the Water. Pharrell is from here, right. and so he put on this festival, and this family had a reunion planned for a year, and their hotel rates went from like $120 to like $1,500 a
so
night.
We have Southeastern Wildlife Exposition every February, every 4th of July weekend it's here. And somebody had a very similar incident where they had family in town and they wanted to stay downtown and the room doubled.
Right.
And
even though you've already booked it.
Yeah, you already booked it. Okay.
But I mean, so insurance works that way. I was talking to my buddy today for his restaurant, and their insurance, he had an employee get hurt. So we were talking about workman's comp. His last insurance dropped him because he didn't file a claim for 3 years, so they figured he was due.
So
how is that legal?
My dad told me he had all state insurance longer than I was. Everybody he had since he was in, I guess, the 60s when he got his first car, and then he had their house that my parents had been in for 45 years. All of a sudden, he gets a letter in the mail one day. They're dropping him. He's had 0 claims, no problems, no nothing, and they dropped him.
I think they should do that. Then they have to give you back half your rates.
Yeah, something.
Like, okay, you want to drop me because you're working about your loss prevention? Sure. But your loss ratio goes up, but okay, but you have to give me something back.
Yeah, he lives
not very
Disney,
Disney,
he lives
sorry.
in Charleston, but doesn't live in a floodplain. Like I said, never filed a claim, nothing, never had any problems. Has his cars with him and everything. They dropped. So when he called out, well, why are you moving your cars? Well, you dropped my house.
Right.
Why am I going to keep?
You don't love me.
Yeah.
But my point is like, I mean, that's a lot. And the thing is that, I think we all know what it's like when you go through a lightning lane. You're both thrilled and a little, or at least I am, and a little embarrassed, right? Like I'm sorry. Like, part of me's going, sorry. And then part of me's going, bum, ba-dum, 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 but moving through there feeling like a movie star. But if they're going to make it, because not everyone gets to go once a month, right? Or if you live there and you're a pass holder. So there was a lady in one of the groups who just popped out the other day, who asked if she should buy lightning lanes. And I said, look, if you want to DM me, I'm happy to talk about this. And so we had a chat back and forth. She has 8 kids or eight grandchildren. I'm sorry. 8 grandchildren. I'm like, no, don't spend that money. It's too much,
Well, here's the thing about the lightning lanes now. This happened to us. So I did for both days. We did Soarin', Ratatouille, and Spaceship Earth because Addison won't ride Mission Space, and I thought I could do Test Track, but I couldn't. So when we got done with Mission Space, I got Living with the Land because it was going to be at 45 minutes. That's how busy it was to do Living with the Land. And my
Wow.
attitude loves Living with the Land. Anyways, when we go to do Soren, we ate lunch and then went and did Soren. It took us 40 minutes in the fast pass, the lightning lane. That's how busy it was. It was just as backed up as now the ride was like 90 minutes, but I timed it. It took us 40 minutes to go through a lightning lane. I'm thinking I paid extra for this, and it's like
And
this ain't worth it.
because there's another level, right? Like Brian's
Oh
talking
yeah,
here, there's a hospitality level. So you can't get World Cup tickets because half of it's sold out to somebody else. I'll tell you, I have a very wealthy friend. When we went to Metallica at Virginia Tech, she had tickets before they went on sale.
oh I'm sure.
I
Yeah,
mean, she's got some secret sauce. And Karen, I could have a whole conversation about I've been a USAA member since I was 18 and no longer. Bum, bum, bum. And they had their headquarters about 2 miles from me for a while.
huh.
But they got really expensive and I ended up going somewhere else. Again, not mostly Disney, right? This is why I picked mostly Disney. So we can talk about anything.
Okay.
But I worry, and I think we've mentioned it before, but I do worry that I just got done and I think rereading, but I don't think I finished it. 3 Days in Wonderland, which I think Brian and you recommended.
It's a good book.
Yeah, great book. And I really recommend it. You should really read it. It was fascinating. But in there, one of the dilemmas Walt was having and something he said was that, I'm not trying to make money right now. This is a long game. And he wanted Disneyland to, I've always heard, oh, look, I want to make it so beautiful that no one will litter, it's going to do all these things different. But he wanted to make it so that there was literally no competition, that it wouldn't matter because there was no place but Disneyland to go because nothing else compared to it. And doing that meant spending a lot of money that didn't have, X equals Y right away. It took time. It was going to make money over days. And I think a lot of us, if we have complaints that aren't just nuts, because sometimes, like the Polynesian lobby, I complain about that every week, but because it was spectacular, right? And it meant something to me. And it really was the perfect example of doing something you probably didn't have to do. And I'm sure there's a good reason, right? I don't know it. I'm sure it was leaking or filled with asbestos. There was some reason why they got rid of it. But it took your breath away. And again, I was talking to my buddy today about restaurants, and he does not love Disney, but it's certainly not like I do anyway. But he does love Walt. We talk about that all the time. And it's like you do all these things, right? That no one thing stands out. Like it's not just the waterfall or just the plants, because I missed the Polynesian lobby when they had live birds in there, right? And
Yeah.
that didn't detract, but it's all these things and like this gestalt, whole picture that you don't even know why you love it, but you do. And I
We
worry
need to.
this is
Oh,
long-winded, I know. If it gets too expensive to maintain, that we will cut costs and make regular hotels. And even though that Polynesian Tower is lovely and I can't wait to stay there, I like it. And I'm sure the new Lakeshore Lodge is going to be beautiful, but it's not Imagineered in the same way. You know what I
mm,
mean? And that story, I think, is what appeals to a lot of us, even if we don't know it, even if you're from an outside and don't know it. It's pretty amazing.
we were watching America's Funniest Videos last night, of course, on ABC, and they were popping up with Disney commercials. And my wife goes, "There's 25 resorts." And I said, "Yeah, we've stayed at half of them." She's like, "No, we haven't." I said, "Start naming them off." And she's like, "Wow, we have stayed at half of them." I said, "Yeah, I know. We still got that many more to go. Probably a little bit more than half of them." But, um, what was I going to say?
Story of my life. Lost. I'm,
Oh,
I
so
I
it's
feel
like,
seen right now. Thanks, Andrew. Cause that happens to me all the time. And I
so,
feel really good. Thanks for co-signing. Oh, I didn't mute him. Nope, you're muted. He's so cute. He's just wiggling back and forth, smiling like a kid in a candy shop, but I can't hear a word he's saying. Now you're back. You're back.
Okay. Would you mute me?
No, my hands were crossed. I didn't
Really?
hear.
Weird.
We call that the
But
Becky
no.
treatment,
Okay. Yeah.
but
So
I
like
didn't do
walking
it.
into the lobby, I did it as a joke when I sent you that video, but it's missing. It's not there. It's like, you know, walking into your grandparents' house and it's not the same anymore. There's small things, kind of like Lou's podcast this week is all about extinct things that aren't rides that we want back. And I can think of a few, but I know of like there's some things that are happening now that I can remember, like when the first time we rode the new Skyliner. I got a video of it. I was trying to find it to post it. My youngest is like giggling and laughing, and I'm like, it's just a Skyliner, but she thought it was the greatest thing ever.
Right.
But one day that's going to change, and somebody's not going to like it, and they'll beat their fists into the ground. With Josh coming back, what's the first thing people said? Oh, first thing he needs to do is lower prices. I hate to tell you, a for-profit company is not going to lower prices. It isn't going to happen.
I know someone sent me a link that he was thinking about reducing annual pass holder prices.
That'd be cool. I'm all for that.
It'd be great, but I couldn't find it. I didn't. The link didn't work.
Be careful; it could be AI.
Right, exactly. But something like in October, I think he was saying.
But okay, if you don't want to lower the prices, that's fine. But give us something back like we used to have. If you don't want to do it for deluxe guests like used to be, you had the extra magic hour at night. Give it to pass holders or something like.
Mm-hmm.
Do we pay a lot of? You and I both pay the top tier because we're out of state, and I don't feel like we get a lot for
it. I make my money back on it, and that's all I'm looking at it for, right?
Oh, I do as well. But it's just hearing things from the past that people have, like, wow, why,
Did you get your magnet while you were down there?
Yes, I did.
I forgot. So I forgot. We haven't even talked since then, but I got to sit in the front of the monorail.
Yeah, you need to tell us about your trip.
How cool was that? Well, we went down again to drop my and 5's pretty good. I need to list. I have a little list somewhere. Karen says she stayed at 5 resorts. That'd be a good question on Facebook. How many different resorts have you stayed at? I have a little checklist to figure out. There's a couple I haven't stayed at.
But you got to be careful because Disney counts the Bay Lake Tower and the Polynesian Tower. They're separate. They don't count them as the actual hotel.
Right.
So I was like, where'd you get 25 from? But that's how they get it.
Yeah. Thanks, Karen. It was awesome. And it made everything worthwhile. But so I think we talked about it on here, but real quickly, a couple trips ago, we were standing in line at the Contemporary, and the pilot, engineer, driver, I'm not even sure what they're called, pulled this group out ahead of us and took them to the front of the monorail. And I thought, oh man, they're gonna let them ride. How cool is this? They didn't. They let them in the cockpit, and I was like, And even though I seem like I'm a gregarious, outgoing person, I'm really one of those introverted extrovert kind of thing. So I didn't really want to ask, but we, keeper of the monorail. There you go. But and Caleb, sorry, I jump up. Caleb says he's only stayed at one, and that was at the beach club. And that's pretty solid, credentials.
Yeah, wrong there.
But we'd just left. Well, how do I tell this story in order? I guess I'll just go in order. Maybe it's easier that way. We went down to return the Jeep to my son and get my truck back, which I'm thrilled to have. And then we stayed at the Wyndham, which had a great view. We got to see 2 fireworks shows at once. I really like that hotel a lot. Right across from Disney Springs. It's awesome. So we got into town, and then we went over to Morimoto, walked over to Disney Springs, and met Kyle, who's now at Cheeky Side with his wife, I hope. They were out for their anniversary, and they were both cute as a button. So we just kind of sat down with them and chatted with them for a few minutes, and then wandered around Disney Springs to close that down. Got up the next day, and I just finished. I had to redo it because I deleted it somehow. But we drove out to Forever Vintage, which, man, that's worth a day. Like, that place is cool. And it's really only a half a day. But I mean, it's about a half an hour from Disney. And they haven't even, I didn't realize they haven't even officially opened yet. So they're doing a grand opening coming up. And the only thing that was closed was like, they do have a big back room with a lot of furniture, from the parks, from the hotels, everything. And so we went in there and talked to them for a little while and then wandered around and looked at all the stuff. And I did buy something. I bought a present for my mom, but other than that, I didn't spend any money and I had a great time. And I went around twice. It was really, really cool. And they have expensive stuff. They have a piece of the Carrollwood Railroad, like a piece of the track framed
Nice.
with some pictures. And that's like 15 grand. And then
That's all?
that's all. And then they'd have a little picture from Peter Pan that was $15. So it really runs the gambit. They have buttons and patches, and they had a what was the water ski show? Gardens. Cypress Gardens, right?
Yeah.
Cypress Gardens. They had a Cypress Gardens bumper sticker. I mean, they had some neat stuff. They had some really cool things, and it's worth the drive. It wasn't bad. I-4 was a little crowded. We drove by the Mickey Power Pole, which I love, and now reminds me of Adam the Woo. So we kind of tipped our hats at that as we drove by, and then went out and had a great time. Came back, and we went out at Lou's recommendation to the best sushi I think I've ever had. And I've been to Nobu in New York City and in Vegas.
Okay. Whoa. Where's this sushi place?
It's called
Do
now
tell.
now I've forgotten the name of it. Seitai. I'm as bad as Shikisai. Sato. No,
Okay.
is that right? Yeah, Sato, and it's down by Sand Lake. So it's about with traffic like a 25 minute. Because I saw Kyle and told him where we were going. He's like, "Yeah, I don't go anywhere near that area." But first of all, we got there and I'd made the reservation for the wrong night.
Oops.
So it's Saturday, Valentine's Day in Orlando, and I've got a reservation for Sunday night. And the girl at the podium was like, "Well, hold on." And then she said, "Are you willing to sit outside? It's covered. There's heat." Yeah, fine. Anywhere is fine. I'll sit on the floor. And then she said, "Well, actually, this guy's a no-show. So to heck with him. You can have his table," which I thought was lovely. And so our waiter was great. And we were talking to him, and I said, "Hey, is the manager here?" And he's like, "Yeah, why?" Because most people complain. I was like, "Well, I just want to tell them how great the hostess was." And he goes, "Which hostess?" And I said, "In the red shirt." He goes, "Yeah, that's the general manager. We didn't have a hostess tonight. She was up there doing it." I'm like, "Well, she's fantastic."
Pat yourself on the back.
Right. But I mean, we had this Wagyu roll that Lou had recommended, was unbelievable. It was incredible. Everything. It was a flawless experience from start to finish.
Nice. I'll have to remember that.
Yeah, it's worth the drive off property.
We eat a ton of sushi. So.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was the best salmon I've ever had in my entire life.
Okay,
Like I've
that's
had that expensive wicked tuna, Toro, fatty tuna.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like that. It just melted. Oh, it was so good.
Mm-hmm.
And a beautiful restaurant. They have a really cool like cherry blossom room in the back with it. It was a neat place. So Sunday, I didn't meet up with Andrew because it was just too hard. I was going to see if you want to have coffee, but we didn't wake up early anyway.
Yeah, we left.
But a buddy of mine that I haven't seen in 25 years, who lives in Colorado, and he's also in the real estate field, but he had called me last year and was like, "Hey man, are you doing all this Disney stuff?" I'm like, "Yeah, I am." He's like, "Me too. I love it. We come 4 times a year. My daughter works there." So he was thrilled that we were into it. So we met up with him and his wife at Summer House, had a great meal there. And I think we sat there for about 2.5, 3 hours, catching up and talking, having a good time. And then he's like, "Hey, I don't want to, push myself on you guys, but we're having a good time. You guys want to keep hanging out?" I'm like, "Yeah, this is great." I'm like, "I think we're going to go over and just ride the monorail around in a circle." And his wife's like, "Well, I'm a DVC member. You want to go to the Villains Lair, which is at the top of the Bay Lake Tower?"
Yeah.
"Yes, I do. I've never been." So she was more than generous and took us over there. And, that felt a little VIP. It's cool. They had a little top of the world sign and an even closer view. I mean, that is the closest view of Magic Kingdom.
Right.
So I went up there and watched the monorail go back and forth. And then we sat down and had some cocktails in the little lounge And that was really neat, and talked with them. And that's when we got on the monorail, and it was raining pretty hard. And when we got off the monorail, we were in the, cart right by the pilots in the front. And so I kind of peeked my head around, and this cast member, Nick, who was driving it, was like, "You want to go in there? Like, can I?" And so he put me in the driver's seat, and then he's like, "Well, look, we're kind of stopped here for a little while." So he came in, and he gave me a training on how to run the monorail. Like, it was awesome.
Oh.
It was like, it seemed like 20 minutes. It was probably like 5 or 8. But then he let me honk the horn, which was the coolest. And then he brought up, there's a computer screen, and he brought that up and said, "Okay, press this button, and the monorail will be stalled here." So I got to press the button and made the guy, use his voice. It was really cool. He was an incredible cast member. And then we were the only ones there because they kind of had it locked off. And so we talked. It was a 12 out of 10 experience. It was awesome. To get to honk the horn was pretty neat. To get to play with the buttons, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then we were going to go over to Walulu and have a meal there, but it was raining. And we jumped on the app for that, by the way, and it was only going to be like 10 minutes. Like, that was pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah, not a big deal.
Wow.
But my wife is not going to walk in the rain, and that's a pretty far walk outside.
Yeah,
so we skipped that. We asked them at Trader Sam's, and we could have gotten into Trader Sam's. We would have had to wait 40 minutes ago. Yeah, Paula, it was really cool. And it was just, I was so thrilled to be in that cockpit of that monorail. It was like a dream come true. And even if they do it for everybody, I don't care. It was the nice, and you're exactly right. And we talked about that earlier, about, these cast members making these moments that I will remember. I'll remember Nick's name the rest of my life. Right. That guy. Yeah. And Christopher Brown is another guy. I need to get over and meet him, but I see him on Facebook a lot. And he's also works at the monorail and says that the children's fountain by the Epcot at that monorail station is the coldest ever. Not the big one, but the kids. So I got to get over there and check that out. So we ended up just staying in line for, 10 minutes, and then went into the Tonga Terrace or Tonga Lounge and had noodles and wings and pot stickers and ribs, and it was delicious and awesome. So, and then got up the next morning and drove home. But man, getting to sit in that monorail was the coolest. And look, if they're not busy, all you have to do is ask, right? I got my cool monorail.
Yeah, let me tell you now.
Got my cool monorail card. So now I need to get all the transportation cards.
That's cool. I did leave one thing out. We did go, we went and played putt-putt at Winter Summerlin. And we got there right as they opened at 11. And I think there was like 3 groups ahead of us. But that was pretty cool, dude. We hadn't done that in a while. Just go play putt-putt. But that was fun.
I love putt-putt. It brings out the absolute worst in our family.
Oh, ours
like
too.
I don't think I've ever played putt-putt with my kids where someone didn't end up throwing something and screaming. And I have these lovely children, and they really are great. They really are.
Somebody always leaves pouting in our family.
Pouting would be a joy for us. It's just to the point, like, am I want to go play putt-putt? Like, no, I'm in a good mood. I don't want to hurt anybody today.
I'm gonna ruin it.
It's bad. It's so weird. I don't know why everyone just gets so competitive and so angry. It's so bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
It's very strange. But I love all those courses. I even love the really hard one that's like real grass.
Like Fantasia Gardens. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just where Tiger got his idea for Pop Stroke was Disney putt-putt.
Really? I saw the good guys went there. Good golf.
Yep, they did. Yep.
They went over there and did it. And it's hard. It's not, don't take your kids to that unless they're golfers. But my face was just like, I don't even know if I can do the real face. I have a monorail face. I just don't know how to get to it. You have to be in the cockpit of the monorail to do it. I wish they'd let people ride in there again. Because that couch was right there and just taunting me the whole time,
Yeah, I'm sure. I never got to ride it. I looked at it one time waiting to get on. But yeah, that'd be cool to actually get to touch buttons and hear things. And Do all that. That'd be pretty cool. That, or if they let you ride in the train, that would be awesome.
Yeah, or
But I don't think that's.
did they ever let you ride up front there in the train?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
That would be awesome if you could, though.
Carlos says putt putt is the best. It is the best. It's just for some reason our family is just awful. And they're so nice. They're typically pretty generous people, and look, we all recover from it. But I mean, I just had some moments where like, why did I become a parent again? Yeah, Karen, I want to see those pictures of riding in the front. That's got to be so cool. Like, there's a lot of reasons I'm glad that video cameras and cell phone cameras didn't exist in my youth, because there's no evidence, and you guys can just keep pretending that I'm this really nice guy and always was. This angel you see before you, but I would like to see some cool home movies. I'm sure they're on Facebook, but I'd rather see somebody I know riding in the front of the monorail. Just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Just so neat.
That was it. Already planning this next trip. Don't know when it's going to be because going to pay for momentum and a hotel room for that. So that comes first. But
yeah, I'll be there for St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, St.
Top
Patrick's
of the
Day.
morning to you. And then my mom, God bless her. There was a shirt. I try not to buy everything I want, right? Like, it's hard. It's really hard. It's a struggle. But they did have a shirt 4 years ago, just a simple Mickey shirt, green with clovers, and it said "Luckiest Place on Earth." And I almost bought it. I'm like, well, no, I'll wait. They'll have it later. Nope, gone forever. And my mom found it on eBay, so I'm pretty excited. So she and I are going to drive down, and we're staying at Animal Kingdom, so I'll be able to check that one off my list, and then we're going to go
Jumbo House, the main building.
Main building with a safari view.
Oh, yeah, you'll like that. That's cool.
And I've never done it, so I'm excited. I mean, that's even people who don't love Disney go, wait, you can see a giraffe from your room? Like, well, possibly.
Yeah, zebra, giraffe.
Right. So I'm excited about that. Right. And then cool. In April, I think I get to go stay at Shades of Green, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
Karen, do you get to stay at Shades of Green? Or have you stayed at Shades of Green, I guess? Because that's a pretty good deal. I will say, if you're a pass holder, we got a really spectacular deal for June. So we have our family trip in June. Hopefully, I booked it. I don't know if we'll get to go. It might just be my wife and I, but I think we got 7 days Wilderness Lodge cabins for like $2,300.
Wow.
Maybe 25. I can tell you that.
That is crazy.
It was pretty awesome.
I think our next stay is going to be at the cabins. The new cabins.
That's what this is.
Oh, the new, okay.
Yeah, that's where we're going. And it was, but 40% off. I'm looking now because Lori Oliveri booked our trip for us. So just to give her a little plug from MEI, your Disney travel provider. But we were booked at the Boardwalk, which I've also never stayed. Sorry, 25.84.60 for 7 nights.
For 7 days? Wow.
June 23rd to June 30th.
Nice.
And I think the Boardwalk was going to be about $5,000, about double. And I do want to do that with a water view. I've never seen it. So if you...
I got lucky at the 2 nights at the Beach Club Villas are $500 a night, but that's usually $800-900.
Yeah, that's a good deal. It so hurts to say that out loud that's a good deal.
I know. It's a good deal at $500 a night.
It really was. Oh, that's right, Brian. I didn't even think about you. Of course you've stayed there. Now, Karen says there's not enough Disney for her. And that was the question. Hey, Tony, you made it. That's okay. You haven't missed anything. We were just sitting here quietly waiting for you to join. I'll be interested to see. I know my brother-in-law got a great deal. He's a Master Chief on the Eisenhower, so although he won't deploy anymore, but he's got a good deal. And this is their first trip to Disney with my niece and nephew. So I'm going to go down at least for a couple days and get them kind of prime the pump to get them started so they have a nice trip.
You're right by the golf course, so you might as well take your clubs with you too.
I mean, I don't want to, it would be rude of me not to.
That too, yes.
Well, plus, I mean, and the other thing is too, is like, I don't want them to have my trip, right? Like you need to go explore. You need to go. I remember we haven't gone in a few years, but we love Chincoteague, which is up on the Eastern Shore. And we went before one of my good friends, and she's like, "Don't tell me. I don't want to know. I want to find out. I want to see it on my own." And it's so true. So I want them to explore a little bit. So I'm not going to completely wander around with them the entire time. So it should be a good time. But I'm interested to do a little review of that and see. I just think it's so cool that they do that for the military. I think it's, yeah. And I will say, Brian says it was better when you can walk to the poly. But I think they're bringing it back. It sounds like they are all that construction, and then they are going to have that walkway. Because when my sister asked about it, they said it was just closed for now. But I think
it's just Blue Sky that Tony's talking about.
What's that?
Tony says y'all need to get on Blue Sky.
Oh, so Blue Sky is like X or Twitter or whatever it is. I'm on there. I started posting stuff on there, and I really need just an easy button that does my stuff everywhere. Because it's just hard. I was just going back that I was making sure we didn't miss anything awesome, because I know Brian was saying that walk to the poly, and then maybe it's not quite as Disney. It feels a little military in there, but as a non-military person, but all my family's in the military, I'll let you know what I think. But I think that's good. I think that's time. I need to go eat dinner. What you gonna edit some video?
I got a ton to edit. I don't even know what I'm gonna put. Like you said, I just hit the record button and just walking and talking. I even recorded to get. I'm gonna post this. I'll probably be the first thing I break down. But when we got to Coco Cay, is walking between the boats and seeing how large these boats are.
Oh yeah.
I did that all the way to the entrance to Coco Cay, so I'm probably just gonna post that with probably put some sound behind it, but that was just amazing to me. Just when we walked down, I was like, wow, because there was a older Royal boat next to us. So that like I said, I got a ton of stuff to do. A lot of shorts probably to make, but I had to work. Came back to Charleston, and then I had to work the weekend. So this weekend I don't have to work. A little family thing on Sunday, but I'll get some stuff up in the reels and posted here soon.
Well, and I don't know if it's smart, but the fun thing about when you're not monetized on I am Tony. I am but mostly Disney on Blue Skies. See you later, Brian. We will talk to you later. But yeah, maybe I will start posting some more stuff on there. You can use and I think it's good video editing practice anyway, is you can use copyrighted music on your videos. Like I thought for a while, maybe I shouldn't in case people want to come back later and I get monetized. And then I realized no one's going back to video number 5 and you shouldn't. Right. So it's fun to just, even if you don't feel like doing a full vlog kind of thing, just picking some Disney songs and throwing it out there and doing it by the music. So pretty cool. Yeah. And then I'll have up tomorrow it's done. I just got to write a description, and I'll have my video from Forever Vintage. And then I'm actually going back still to the summer and doing videos from there. So we got that on there. And then I've been trying to ask some questions. I've given up on You Might Be a Disney Adult. I ran through that for a month. I just can't do it anymore. I can't come up with any new ones. So I kind of put that out there, but I usually post a question every day on Facebook, and I like getting in there and answering those comments and seeing what everybody thinks. Yeah. So if you Google But Mostly Disney, you're going to find Andrew and I almost everywhere. And then next week, little Timmy Foster is back. So we will, so email me, or find me on Facebook and give me some top 10 lists, and we'll do that, for Timmy Foster, because I feel like I just love doing that. And we'll talk about his newest book. So always love having him on. He's fun. He's just a joy to talk to, and I can't wait. So
Yep, he's always cool.
And then other than that, man, I will see you guys next week. Oh, and I guess Andrew's just walked from TCC to the Poly.
Oh.
So now if only I could just transport myself to the Polynesian to head over there. But thanks, Karen. Thanks, Caleb. Thanks, Andrew. Thanks, Tony. Yeah. I know Brian already left. Thanks, Paula. Thanks, everybody, for coming by. Chris, always a pleasure. I promise it will be everything in the mail will be tomorrow, or I'll send you something else for free if it doesn't get done. I will hold myself accountable to that. And see you guys next week.
See you next week. Thanks, guys.
Our time is too short. It's over now. And we hate to say goodbye, but we'll be back next Tuesday night, or at least we sure will try.